single mother of 3 receives unexpected inheritance. From stranger, her reaction is heartwarming as it transforms her family's life. On a bright autumn morning, the sun filtered through the thin curtains of Bronwyn's small apartment, casting warm golden patterns on the worn wooden floor. The air carried a crispness that hinted at the change of seasons. Yet, within the cozy confines of her home, a heavy weight pressed on Bronwyn's shoulders. With 2 jobs to manage and 3 lively children to care for, her mornings often felt like a chaotic whirlwind. "Mom, I can't find my shoes," Luna's voice echoed from the other room, pulling Bronwyn from her thoughts. "Check under the couch, honey," Bronwyn called back, her heart racing as she rushed to prepare breakfast. The smell of burnt toast filled the air, mingling with the sound of Ethan arguing with Jasper over the last piece of cereal. As she poured the last bit of milk into a bowl, Bronwyn's eyes flicked to the stack of mail on the kitchen counter. Bills, advertisements, and the occasional letter filled the pile, a reminder of the daily grind. But among the usual clutter, one envelope stood out. It was an official-looking letter, addressed to her mother. She didn't recognize the sender, but the name on the return address sparked a flicker of curiosity. "Mom, are you going to keep ignoring us?" Ethan chimed in, his irritation evident. "Just a second," Bronwyn replied, her fingers already reaching for the envelope. She tore it open, her heart pounding. Inside was a letter from a lawyer representing a man she had never known, a friend of her mother who had passed away. A name, unfamiliar and distant, danced across the page. Mr. Thomas Whitaker. Confused, she scanned the letter. It spoke of an inheritance, a substantial amount of money. The words blurred as her mind raced. "Mom, what's wrong?" Luna asked, peering over her shoulder. Bronwyn looked down at the letter again, her breath hitching. It says I've inherited some money," she stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. "Money? How much?" Jasper's eyes widened in excitement. "Let me see." Ethan reached out, his curiosity piqued, but Bronwyn held the letter close, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and fear. "What does it mean?" Luna asked, sensing the shift in the atmosphere. Bronwyn took a deep breath, the weight of the moment pressing down on her. "It means it could change everything for us," she said slowly, her voice trembling. "But I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing." "What do you mean?" Ethan pressed, his face a mix of hope and confusion. "I mean, what would we even do with it?" Bronwyn's mind raced with possibilities, but each one came with its own set of complications. It could help us, but it could also change who we are. Luna's eyes sparkled with dreams. "We could go on a trip, or get a bigger apartment. Or get new video games," Jasper jumped in, unaware of the deeper implications. As their ideas filled the kitchen, Bronwyn felt a knot tightening in her stomach. Could they really afford to dream? Or was this just a fleeting moment of hope? "Listen, we need to think about this carefully," she said, her voice steadying. "This money doesn't just belong to us. It was left to us by a man we never met. We have a responsibility to honor his memory." Ethan looked at her, his expression shifting from excitement to contemplation. "What if we use it to help other people too?" "Like what?" Luna asked, her enthusiasm dimming slightly. "Maybe we could help kids who need it," Ethan suggested, a spark igniting in his eyes. Bronwyn smiled faintly, feeling a glimmer of hope amidst the uncertainty. Maybe that's a place to start. We can think about what this means for us together. As Bronwyn glanced at the letter again, she realized that this unexpected inheritance was not just about the money. It was about choices, family, and the very essence of who they were. What would they decide, and how would it shape their future? On a bright autumn afternoon, Bronwyn sat at the small dining table in their cramped apartment, her heart still racing from the news of the inheritance. She took a deep breath, trying to calm the whirlwind of thoughts in her mind. The letter from the lawyer had changed everything, and she knew it was time to talk to her children about what this could mean for their family. "Luna, Ethan, Jasper," she called out, her voice cutting through the sounds of their cluttered home. The children came running, curiosity shining in their eyes. "I have something important to share with you all." They gathered around the table, their faces eager and bright. Bronwyn looked at her kids, feeling a mix of excitement and fear. "I received a letter today," she began, "and it says we have inherited some money from a friend of Grandma's." Luna's eyes widened. "Money? Like a lot of it?" she asked, bouncing slightly in her seat. "Yes, a substantial amount," Bronwyn replied, feeling the weight of the moment. "But I want us to talk about it together. What do you think we should do with it?" Ethan, always the thoughtful one, furrowed his brow. "Well, I've been wanting to take music lessons for a long time. It would be amazing to learn how to play the guitar," he said, his voice filled with hope. "That's a great idea, Ethan," Bronwyn encouraged, feeling a spark of joy at her son's enthusiasm. "Music is important to you, and it could help you grow." Luna, however, had a different thought. "What about the animal shelter?" she chimed in. "They always need money to help the animals. We could use some of it to help them." Bronwyn's heart swelled with pride. "You have such a big heart, Luna. Helping animals is a wonderful idea." Jasper, who had been quietly listening, finally spoke up. "I just want a new toy," he said, his voice small but earnest. "Something fun to play with." Bronwyn smiled gently at her youngest. "We can think about that too, Jasper. But remember, this money could help us in many ways." As the conversation continued, Bronwyn felt a tug at her heart. She realized that this inheritance was not just about financial stability. It carried a weight of responsibility. "We need to think about how we can honor the memory of the man who left us this money," she said softly. "What do you mean, Mom?" Ethan asked, his interest piqued. "Well," Bronwyn started, choosing her words carefully, "this money could change our lives, but it also gives us a chance to make a difference in other people's lives. It's important to use it wisely." Luna nodded thoughtfully. "Like helping people or animals," she added, her mind racing with ideas. "Yes," Bronwyn affirmed. "We could do something that brings us closer as a family and helps others at the same time. But I also have my own dreams for us." "What do you want, Mom?" Jasper asked, his innocent eyes looking up at her. Bronwyn paused, feeling the weight of her own desires. "I want us to have a home where we feel safe and happy. I want to give you all opportunities that I didn't have. But I also want to teach you about kindness and helping others." Ethan leaned back in his chair, clearly deep in thought. "Maybe we can do both," he suggested. "We can use some money for lessons and the shelter and still save for a new toy." "That's a good plan, Ethan," Bronwyn replied, feeling a sense of relief wash over her. "We can find a balance. It's important to consider what each of us wants." As they talked, Bronwyn felt a sense of unity forming among them. Their dreams and hopes were different, but they all wanted to make a positive impact. The inheritance was not just money, it was a chance to build a brighter future together. "Let's keep thinking about this," she said, smiling at her children. "We'll come back to it and figure out a plan that honors all of our dreams." With that, the family began to brainstorm, sharing ideas and visions for the future. In that moment, Bronwyn realized that despite the challenges ahead, they were on the brink of something beautiful, a journey that would bring them closer together while making a difference in the world around them. As Bronwyn sat at the small kitchen table, surrounded by the familiar sounds of her children playing in the living room, she felt a wave of nostalgia wash over her. The sunlight filtered through the window, casting a warm glow on the faded photographs that adorned the walls. Each image held memories of laughter, struggles, and the love that had shaped their family. She took a deep breath and began to reflect on her journey as a mother. What does it mean to be wealthy? She asked herself, her thoughts drifting to the inheritance that had unexpectedly entered their lives. It was a substantial amount of money, enough to change their circumstances, but it stirred a deep sense of responsibility within her. As she looked at the photo of her family cooking together, her mind flashed back to simpler times. "Remember when we made that giant pizza?" she asked aloud, a smile creeping onto her face. She could almost hear Luna's giggles from that day as they fought over toppings. Yeah, and I got the biggest slice, Luna shouted from the living room, her voice full of joy. Bronwyn chuckled, remembering the flower fight that had ensued. It was moments like those that reminded her of what truly mattered. The money was just a tool, she thought. What she wanted most was to instill values in her children: kindness, empathy, and the importance of family. Ethan wandered into the kitchen, his guitar slung over his shoulder. "Mom, can I use some of that money for music lessons?" he asked, his excitement evident. Bronwyn nodded, appreciating his passion. "Of course, sweetheart, but we need to think about how we can use this money to help others too. It's important that we honor the man who left it to us." Ethan frowned for a moment, considering her words. "I get it, but can we also do something fun, like a family trip?" "Maybe we can find a balance," Bronwyn suggested, her mind racing with possibilities. "We can take a trip together and still help others. What if we used some of the money to create a fund for single mothers in our community?" Jasper, who had been quietly coloring at the table, looked up with wide eyes. "What's a fund?" he asked, his curiosity piqued. "It's like a pot of money that we can use to help people who need it," Bronwyn explained gently. "We can support single mothers who are trying to make a better life for their kids, just like I do for you." Luna clapped her hands, her face lighting up with enthusiasm. "That's a great idea, Mom. We can help people get back on their feet. Maybe we can even have a bake sale to raise more money." Bronwyn felt a swell of pride at her children's eagerness to contribute. "I love that idea, Luna. Baking together can be our first project," she replied, her heart warmed by their willingness to help. As the children began tossing around ideas, Bronwyn sat back, her mind racing with the possibilities. What would it look like to create a fund? How could they make a real impact? "You know," she said thoughtfully, "true wealth is not just about what we have. It's about how we use it to make the world a better place." Ethan nodded, his expression serious. "I want to help too. I could write a song about it." "That would be amazing," Bronwyn encouraged, impressed by his creativity. Music has a way of bringing people together. With the children buzzing with ideas and excitement, Bronwyn felt a sense of clarity. The inheritance was a gift, but it was also a chance to teach her children about compassion and the importance of giving back. In that moment, she realized that this new chapter in their lives could strengthen their family bond. The money would not only provide for them but also allow them to connect with others in meaningful ways. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue across their small apartment, Bronwyn felt a renewed sense of purpose. They would not just be a family with newfound wealth. They would be a family dedicated to creating a legacy of love and support for those around them. Together, they would honor the memory of the man who had left them this gift, and in doing so, they would discover the true meaning of wealth. Bronwyn sat at the small kitchen table, her heart still racing from her earlier thoughts. The morning sun streamed through the window, casting warm light across the scattered papers and children's drawings. She took a deep breath, feeling a sense of purpose building inside her. "Kids, can we talk?" she called out, her voice steady but filled with excitement. Luna, Ethan, and Jasper, who had been playing in the living room, rushed into the kitchen, their faces curious. "What's up, Mom?" Luna asked, her brown eyes sparkling with curiosity. Bronwyn pushed a few papers aside to make room for the letter. "I've been thinking a lot about the money we talked about, the inheritance," she began, glancing at each child. "I want to do something special with it, something that can help others, especially single mothers like me." Ethan frowned slightly. "But Mom, we could get new things, like a bigger TV or my music lessons," he said, his voice a mix of hope and worry. "I know, honey," Bronwyn replied, her tone gentle. "And those things are nice, but I think we can make a bigger difference. What if we created a fund to help other single mothers in our community? We could support them with things like childcare or education." Jasper, who had been quiet, perked up. "Like superheroes?" he asked, his eyes wide. "We could help them be strong. That sounds cool." Bronwyn smiled at Jasper's enthusiasm. Exactly. We could be their support team. What do you all think? Luna's face lit up. I love that idea. We could organize events to raise money and even collect supplies for them. Maybe we could have a bake sale. Ethan nodded, his initial hesitation fading. And we could put on a concert. I can play my guitar and sing. That would bring people together. Bronwyn felt a rush of pride. Her children were already thinking of ways to contribute. Yes, and we can reach out to other single mothers to see what they need. We can listen to their stories and help in ways that matter to them. That sounds amazing, Mom, Luna exclaimed. We could make flyers and talk to our neighbors. Everyone can help. Let's make a list of all the things we can do, Bronwyn suggested, grabbing a piece of paper and a pen. The kids gathered around her, their excitement filling the small room. First, we need a name for our fund, Ethan said, tapping his chin thoughtfully. How about Moms Helping Moms? Luna clapped her hands. Yes, that's perfect. It sounds friendly and welcoming. Jasper grinned, his small hands raised in the air. And we can make a big poster with that name. I want to draw on it. As they wrote down ideas, Bronwyn felt the heaviness of her earlier worries lift. The energy in the room was contagious. They were not just talking about money, they were discussing hope and connection. Let's also think about how we can honor the man who left us this money, Bronwyn said, her voice softening. He thought of us, and I believe he would want us to share it with others. Luna nodded, her expression serious. We can tell his story when we meet the other moms. They should know why we're doing this. Bronwyn's heart swelled with pride. Her children were not just thinking of themselves, but were eager to make a difference. Exactly, Luna. We will remember him and what he did for us by helping others. As they continued to brainstorm, Bronwyn felt a new sense of direction. The inheritance was no longer just a surprise gift. It was a chance to create a positive impact. Through their shared ideas, she saw how this journey could not only help others, but also bring their family closer together. Let's get started, Bronwyn said, her voice filled with determination. We have a lot of work to do, but I know we can do it together. With that, the family's mission began, igniting a sense of purpose that would guide them in the days to come. Each child was ready to contribute their talents and ideas, and Bronwyn felt grateful for the path ahead. It was not just about the money anymore. It was about love, community, and the legacy they would build together. As the sun rose higher in the sky, casting a warm glow over their small apartment, Bronwyn gathered her children around the kitchen table. The air was filled with the scent of pancakes sizzling on the stove. Today was a special day, one that marked the beginning of their new mission. Okay, everyone, I want to talk about how we can use some of the money from the inheritance, Bronwyn said, her voice steady, yet filled with excitement. Her heart raced as she thought about the possibilities that lay ahead. Luna, her eldest daughter with bright eyes and a kind heart, leaned forward, eager to share her thoughts. I want to help at the animal shelter. They really need volunteers, and I can read to the cats and dogs. It makes me happy. That sounds wonderful, Luna, Bronwyn replied with a smile. You can start this weekend. Helping animals is a great way to give back. Ethan, the middle child, looked thoughtful. I want to take music lessons. I've been practicing on my guitar, but I know I can get better if I have a teacher. Maybe I can even play at the community event. That's a great idea, Ethan. Music brings people together, Bronwyn encouraged, and you can use your talent to inspire others. Jasper, the youngest, chimed in with his innocent enthusiasm. Can I get a new toy? I want a big dinosaur. His eyes sparkled with excitement as he imagined his new toy. Bronwyn chuckled softly. You know, Jasper, we can find a way to do that too. But what if we also shared some of your toys with children who don't have any? That would be a nice thing to do. Jasper thought for a moment, his brow furrowing in concentration. Okay, I can share my cars and my big teddy bear. They can have them. Bronwyn felt a wave of pride wash over her. That's the spirit, buddy. Sharing is a big part of our mission. It's about helping each other. As they finished their breakfast, they decided to visit the local community center later that day. Bronwyn wanted to meet other single mothers who might need support. She believed that sharing their stories could strengthen their mission and help them connect with others. When they arrived at the community center, Bronwyn felt a mix of nervousness and excitement. They walked into a room filled with women and children, talking and laughing. The atmosphere was warm, and the walls were decorated with colorful posters about community support. "Hi there, I'm Bronwyn." She introduced herself to a group of mothers. "These are my kids, Luna, Ethan, and Jasper. We want to help single mothers in our community." One of the mothers, a tall woman with short hair, smiled warmly. "That's wonderful, Bronwyn. We could use all the help we can get. I'm Sarah. What ideas do you have?" Bronwyn shared their plans to create a fund to support single mothers. "We want to help with things like groceries, school supplies, and maybe even some fun activities for the kids," she explained. "That sounds amazing," Sarah exclaimed. "We can organize a bake sale or a yard sale. The money we raise can go directly to families in need." Luna jumped in, her excitement contagious. "I can make cookies and cupcakes for the bake sale. I love baking," Ethan added. "And I can play music to entertain people while they shop. It will be fun." Jasper, feeling the energy in the room, shouted, "I can help too. I can carry boxes." Bronwyn watched her children, her heart swelling with pride. This was what she wanted for them: to feel connected to their community and to understand the importance of helping others. As they worked together with the other mothers, sharing stories of struggle and hope, Bronwyn felt a deep bond forming not just between her and her children, but with the community around them. They laughed, cried, and offered words of encouragement to one another. By the end of the day, they had planned a community event that would showcase their efforts. Bronwyn felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. It was clear that this journey was about more than just the money. It was about building connections, sharing love, and uplifting one another. As they headed home, Bronwyn looked at her children and smiled. "I am so proud of all of you. Together, we can make a real difference." "Yeah, we are a team," Jasper shouted, clapping his hands. And in that moment, Bronwyn knew that they were richer than they had ever imagined, not just in finances, but in compassion, connection, and the love they shared as a family. The sun shone brightly on the day of the community event, casting a warm glow over the small park where Bronwyn and her children had planned their gathering. Colorful banners fluttered in the gentle breeze, and the sounds of laughter and chatter filled the air. Bronwyn looked around, her heart swelling with pride as she saw members of the community setting up tables and decorations. "Mom, can I help with the balloons?" Jasper asked, his eyes wide with excitement. He had taken on the role of the unofficial balloon master, determined to make the event lively. "Of course, sweetie. Just make sure they don't float away," Bronwyn replied with a smile, watching as he dashed off to grab more balloons. Luna was busy organizing a small petting area where children could interact with animals from the local shelter. She had worked hard to make sure everything was just right. "I can't wait for everyone to meet the puppies, Mom. They are going to love it," she exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. "Me too, Luna. You've done such a wonderful job," Bronwyn said, her heart warming at her daughter's passion for helping animals. Ethan was setting up a small stage for the music performance they had planned. He was nervous, but excited. "What if nobody likes my songs?" he asked, biting his lip as he adjusted the microphone. "Just be yourself, Ethan. You have a beautiful voice, and everyone is here to support you," Bronwyn reassured him, giving him a gentle squeeze on the shoulder. "Remember, it's about sharing and connecting, not just performing." As the event began, families started to gather, drawn in by the vibrant atmosphere and the kindness radiating from Bronwyn and her children. The day was filled with laughter, games, and stories shared among strangers who quickly became friends. Bronwyn took a moment to step back and observe. She felt a deep sense of fulfillment wash over her as she watched her children engage with others, their faces lighting up with joy. Luna was showing a little girl how to pet a rabbit gently, while Jasper handed out balloons, making sure every child had one. "Look, Mom, they love the animals," Luna said, running over to Bronwyn, her cheeks flushed with excitement. "I think we should do this every year." "That's a great idea, Luna. We can make it a tradition," Bronwyn replied, her heart swelling with pride at her children's enthusiasm. As the afternoon wore on, it was time for Ethan's performance. He stepped onto the stage, his hands trembling slightly. The crowd quieted, and all eyes were on him. Hi everyone, I'm Ethan, and I'm going to sing a song I wrote," he said, his voice shaking a little, but growing stronger as he continued. Bronwyn watched, her heart racing as he poured his heart into the song. The lyrics spoke of hope, love, and community, everything they had been working towards. When he finished, the crowd erupted into applause, and Ethan beamed with pride, his earlier nervousness forgotten. "See, I told you they would love it," Bronwyn whispered, wrapping her arms around him as he hopped off the stage, a wide grin plastered across his face. Later in the day, as the sun began to set, Bronwyn gathered her children for a moment of reflection. "I am so proud of all of you. Today showed what we can accomplish together," she said softly, her eyes glistening with tears of joy. "We've made connections with so many people, and we've raised awareness for single mothers. This is what true wealth feels like." "Do you think we helped?" Jasper asked, his expression serious. "Absolutely," Bronwyn replied, kneeling down to meet his gaze. "And remember, this is just the beginning. We can keep helping others and making our community stronger." As they stood together, hand in hand, Bronwyn felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. The inheritance had opened doors, not just financially, but in building a legacy of love and community. They were richer than they had ever imagined, not just in money, but in compassion, connection, and the bonds they had created together. "Let's promise to keep this going," Luna said, her voice filled with determination. "Together," Bronwyn said, squeezing her children's hands tightly. "Together, we can do anything." I share this story if you believe that community and love can create lasting change. Leave a comment about a time when you came together with others to make a difference in your neighborhood. Don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories like this one.